myself Swapnil Chandra from CloudOps team, Technology Squad. So today we are going to have a presentation on the HashiCorp Vault that I have been doing in my experiments from last some weeks. So this HashiCorp Vault is a modern technology or modern solution to one of the most tremendous problem that we face in these current days, that is secret management. So when it comes to secret management, it is very important to have a single source of truth, and that has been iterating days and days from companies to companies, from solutions to solutions. So what happened in earlier times is that people used to save or rotate their access tokens or their secret files, their shell script files or their PEM files using some other third-party tools or some cloud-based solutions such as Secrets Manager in AWS. But these were something that has to rely on an admin to rotate them, to maintain them, and to circulate them. Facing this situation, it was very hard for a particular developer or team to have these credentials from admin, and it was a very tremendous task for an admin team to handle these and to maintain these different tokens and different secret files at a place and rotate them at a daily basis or at a TTL that is given. So HashiCorp Vault solves this problem by minimizing the work of admin and automating and providing these secret credentials, their rotation and their privacy at a single place. Suppose I am a person who is deploying something on Terraform and I am doing that using a CI/CD pipeline. So at the time I want the tokens, the access token and the access ID of AWS. Suppose I am deploying something on AWS and I want access key and access ID. So I have to get to the admin of the AWS account to please provide me this access key and access token. Or he or she will provide me the access token and I will save it as a secret in the Jenkins. Suppose I am using Jenkins, I have to store it as a secret. But it was not secure. Why? Because people who have access to those secret keys and access keys and access credentials, they will be able to go into the AWS account and deploy something, or they can do the tasks that are not publishable by the company policies or by the deployment that we do. So to tackle this situation, we introduced Vault. What does Vault do? It authorizes the person who is deploying something and it provides the access key and access ID on the fly. On the fly in the sense that whenever you are deploying something, if you are an authorized user, if you have been authorized by the admin to use those access credentials, access IDs, then only you will be able to deploy, and then only the resource will get deployed on the cloud. So it depends solely on the person or the admin team to allow people to have control or have access or controlled access over the access keys and access ID or the tokens that we have been using. So as we looked into how HashiCorp Vault solves our secret management problem, so now it's time to look into how this looks as an architecture and how it works, what is its workflow and how it is implemented in real life. So here's the architecture, how it actually works and how it is revolving around the identification authorization purposes of the daily uses that we do. So the first thing that we see here is clients, humans or machines. So humans could be us, that suppose we are doing SSH into a EC2 machine and we want the PEM file or the secret file to do the SSH. So we will be requesting from HashiCorp Vault. So we will be the client here. For the machine purpose, we can say suppose some tools like Terraform, Jenkins or serverless, they are requesting some tokens to deploy to AWS. So these things will be considered as machines here. Now what happens is when a human or machine makes a request, the request goes to HashiCorp Vault and it identifies whether that particular machine or human has enough validation to have access to the policy or to the secrets that are stored in HashiCorp Vault. Once that validation is done, it goes on to the authentication methods, and authentication is done for the purpose that what sort of permissions that particular person is having. So particular permissions in the sense, suppose I am a user and I have requested to create EC2 instances in an AWS account. So that AWS account must be having valid permissions for my user so that I can create those EC2 instances. So that thing is checked in this process. Once that authorization is done, that I am authorized to have EC2 instance, to deploy EC2 instances to the AWS account, then the retrieval process is done and we are available with the secret at our place. At our place in the sense, suppose we are deploying something, so the secret is given on the fly. So this is how HashiCorp Vault works, and the tools or the clouds that are supported are mentioned here. Suppose Azure Cloud, Google Cloud, AWS, Alibaba. Almost each and every tool or each and every cloud tool or DevOps tool that you see, or each and every deployment tools that you see, these are supported by HashiCorp Vault. There is almost each and every CI/CD tools that we work on, those are supported by HashiCorp Vault. So the next thing comes is, how does Vault work? What is the workflow? What is the process that it works? In the earlier architecture, we saw that there is a 3-line process that works, but actually it is a 4-line process. 4-line process, what is it? We will iterate over all the 4 processes. First is authenticate. Authenticate in the sense that whether this user has access to the particular policies or particular secrets stored in HashiCorp Vault or not. Second comes validation. Validation means once we are authorized, that we are authorized people to have access to those secrets, and then we are validated, that validation goes to the HashiCorp Vault, that this person or this machine is valid to have these secrets. Third comes is authorize. When someone is authorized to do something, means they are able to perform actions using those secrets. If you are not authorized, you won't be able to perform actions using those secrets. Last is access. Access means you have been provided with the secrets and you can have those secrets in your particular machine, in your deployment environment, or wherever you want to use them. So the last thing comes is a generalized workflow, how this vault works. So the generalized workflow, suppose this is the admin and he wants to create a particular database or a particular database for secret management, of how he will be storing those secrets in Vault. So what happens is that he will enable the database secret engine. There are various secret engines that are there in HashiCorp Vault. There are key value pairs, there are AWS, GKE, Azure, and similarly there are database secret management engine. There are different engines that work there. So he will be considering database secret engine. Once that is configured, he will create roles. Roles in the sense, suppose we want to perform some CRUD operations on database, but it is not so for each and every developer. Each and every developer has different responsibilities to do on the database. So he will create roles for that this particular person has delete permissions, this particular person has create permissions, this particular person has update permissions. So according to that, roles will be created. Now once those roles are created, he will now go to request. Now someone, if from the app is making request to HashiCorp Vault. How they are making request? They are just sending a request to HashiCorp Vault. They are not directly accessing something on the admin level or something on the database level or something from the secret level. They are giving request to HashiCorp Vault. Once that request is done, it will give a new set of credentials. So this is what HashiCorp Vault comes into action. Each and every time, whenever you have requested HashiCorp Vault for accessing a particular tool or particular cloud or particular database, it gives you new credentials. New credentials in the sense, if there is some admin credentials saved at admin level, they won't be given to you, or some static credentials, they won't be provided to you. It will provide you new credentials along with a TTL. TTL means time to live. That suppose 1 hour, 2 hour, 3 hour, or the time you specify that you want this for this particular time. Once that is done, then the user or the app is able to connect to the database. So this is the general workflow, how this HashiCorp Vault works. So as we saw how HashiCorp Vault could be helpful for secret management and how it solves this problem. So there are some general use cases or daily use cases that comes forward. Like there was one use case that we solved for one of our customers, that they were setting up Bitbucket pipeline. So Bitbucket pipeline has some serious issues with this having the secured credentials. Although you can save the secret credentials using the generalized settings that are provided, but we were facing issue because Bitbucket pipeline works only on the repositories that we have given, or it works on a repository basis. So repositories are something that is accessed by the developers, accessed by the operations team, accessed by each and every member who is working on that particular repository. So pipelines can be executed by anyone. So to tackle this situation, we introduce HashiCorp Vault. We save the AWS tokens or AWS access key and access ID in HashiCorp Vault, and we fetch them on the fly. And where it helped us the most is authorizing the users, that this particular user or this particular team is able to access these secret keys and this particular team is denied access to those keys. So what happened actually is that they were able to handle all the operations, all the things at a single place. First thing. Second thing, some unauthorized person, suppose someone from the developer team don't have particular permissions to deploy on production environment, so he or she won't be able to do that. Even if they execute that pipeline, they won't be able to deploy anything. Why? Because HashiCorp Vault will be sitting behind the pipeline to deny those things. So now the next question comes is that how or what features, what are the other features of HashiCorp Vault that offer it to be the best secret management tool that we can use. So first thing, or the first use case or the first benefit that we say is it is open source, and open source also allows many of the features that many secret management tools allow even after paying some rupees. So when it comes to open source, it allows us to maintain users that are users groups. It allows us to maintain users. It allows us to maintain groups. It allows us to enable many secret engines, suppose AWS, like key value engine, etc., etc. So these all are available for the open source tool as well. So the final question comes is that how this has been beneficial for us or for the organization that we are working on. So this experiment on HashiCorp Vault, this has been a very breakthrough. It has been a very breakthrough tool for us to maintain the secrets at our organization level as well. Although we have worked for many customers and you have used this HashiCorp Vault for them as well, but it has been a very useful tool for us. People were saving their credentials, people were saving their usernames and passwords on Google Docs or normal documents or notes, but it was very inefficient because at some point, if any data breaches, then they will be exposed to a huge world, or their credentials they can be used for a wide variety of breaches that our organization should not bear at any point. So HashiCorp Vault has been applied at company level as well, and we have been using it for secret management, and we have leveraged it for different customers as well, and we are trying to have it more. We are trying to have more control over it because there are many features that we haven't even explored, and it is available for the open source tool as well. It's the open source that we are having for HashiCorp Vault. So experimental Saturdays have been very much beneficial for us because experimental Saturdays gives us exposure to such tools like we see, and these are very much helpful in solving day-to-day life. Like I told, there was a customer who was struggling with secret management. So someone who has done something, or someone who has done experiment on something that is solving this problem. So it is very beneficial for us and for the customer as well to get the solution on the plate, and they can move forward with their general operations. So this is all about HashiCorp Vault and the experiment that I did. I hope you guys have learned about it, and you will explore it more because there are many possibilities that we can have on this open source tool. Thank you.